Good morning, friends. On the auspicious occasion of 75th Constitution Day celebration, which is also now called as Daimond Jubilee celebration of Indian Constitution Day, my hearty greetings and best wishes to all of you. I would like to share my thoughts on the importance of the celebration of Indian Constitution Day, otherwise known as National Law Day, on this occasion. The father of Indian Constitution, Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, Constitution is not a mere lawyer's document. It's a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. What he said is 100% correct. Constitution Day in India is celebrated on 26th November every year as the Constitution drafted by its chief architect Baba Sahib Ambedkar was adopted by the Constituent Assembly of India on 26/11/1949, and it came into force on 26/1/1950, which is known as Republic Day, and we celebrate the Republic Day on that day. The Constitution Day is observed to spread the importance of the Constitution of India and how it is useful in maintaining the unity and integrity of India in spite of divergent cultures, religions, languages, and social divisions such as vicious caste system and discrimination, etc. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of the land, and our social, political, economic, and legal systems have to run in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution of India. Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, as I said, was the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, ensuring that it included essential principles like justice, equality, and freedom. He advocated for the inclusion of fundamental rights, protecting the rights and freedoms of all citizens, irrespective of caste, religion, and region. Moreover, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, being a strong advocate of social justice, ensured the provisions for the protection of and upliftment of the marginalized communities, including scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, minorities, and women as well. Dr. Ambedkar brought his vast knowledge and experience as a social reformer, economist, and legal scholar to the drafting process. He emphasized the importance of democracy and the rule of law in the new Constitution. The celebration of the Constitution Day is also meant to remember the sacrifice and the sincere efforts of Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in bringing a best written constitution in the world, for which we all must be grateful to him. And this is also a way by which we can pay tributes to the father of Indian Constitution, Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and spread his ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The celebration of Constitution Day also held or celebrated to ignite the lamp of knowledge in the minds of our new generations by enabling them to understand the importance of the Indian Constitution and its foundation, respect it and follow it in the right spirit by awakening to their fundamental rights and duties. It also makes us to aware of the current happenings where the democratic, secular, and socialist objectives of the Constitution of India are being undermined, and to protect it from the distortion and dilution. Earlier, 26th November was being celebrated as a law day since 1979 onwards. However, as a part of 125th birth celebrations of Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the government of India declared it as a National Constitution Day. The rationale behind celebrating this Constitution Day or National Law Day was aptly described by the Honorable Justice P.N. Bhagavati on 26/11/1985 by saying, it is in the fitness of the things that the day on which the Constitution was endorsed and implemented to be celebrated as a law day, that is to emphasize and highlight the fundamental role of law in the society and remind ourselves of the sublime purpose for which the law is intended to serve in a republic governed by the rule of law. The real purpose of celebrating Law Day is also rededicate ourselves to the cardinal principles which form the solid foundation as declared in the preamble of the Constitution on which the Constitution edifice is founded and erected. The essence and ultimate aim of the Constitution is enshrined in the preamble, which is as follows. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice. Justice means socio-economic and political justice, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all the fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day November 1949, we do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Thus, it is the people of India who themselves authored, enacted, and gave to themselves the Constitution, which means ultimately it is the people of India that matters and their will is the supreme. The Constitution is not given by any individual, authority, or institution like Parliament. All the institutions are the creatures of the Constitution, whether it is legislature, executive, or judiciary, etc. All the institutions and individuals who administer their respective roles got power from the provisions from the Constitution and not otherwise. They have to obey and work as per the provisions of the Constitution of India, in which they were assigned their respective roles, powers, and limitations in discharge of their power. No doubt, Parliament is the highest policy decision-making body and formulating body, and it has got wide powers to enact legislations, but it did not have the power to destroy or emasculate the basic foundational structure or the foundational features of the Constitution as enshrined in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Thus, the preamble of the Constitution is the basic structure of the Constitution, and it cannot be meddled, weakened, diluted, or destroyed by the Parliament or the executive in any manner. This was categorically upheld by the Constitutional Bench of 13 judges in Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala case in its historical judgment dated 24/4/1973, which is famously known as Fundamental Rights case. The Indian Constitution is very important because it is the foundation of India's democracy and governance. Number one, it is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution is the supreme law of India. All other laws must follow its principles. As the principles, it ensures the government runs according to a set of established rules and guidelines. And number two, it protects the fundamental rights. The Constitution guarantees fundamental rights to all citizens, such as the right to equality, freedom of speech, and the right to life. These rights protect individuals from any unfair treatment by the state and ensure personal freedoms. Number three, establishes democratic governance. The Constitution sets up a democratic system where leaders are elected by the people. It outlines the structure of the government, including the executive, legislature, and judiciary, ensuring a balance of power. Number four, it promotes social justice. The Constitution aims to reduce social inequalities and protect the interests of the marginalized communities. It includes the provisions for affirmative action, helping to uplift the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, including minorities and women. Number five, it also ensures the rule of law. The Constitution ensures that everyone, including the government, follows the law. It provides a framework for the legal system, ensuring fairness and justice for all. Number six, it defines citizenship. It defines who is an Indian citizen and the rights and duties of the citizens. This helps in maintaining a sense of national unity and identity. Number seven, it guides policy and governance. The Constitution provides guidelines for making the laws and policies. It includes directive principles of the state policy, which guide the government in making decisions that aim at to improve the social and economic conditions of the people. Number 8, the Constitution is can adapt to the changes. The Constitution has provision for amendments, allowing it to evolve with changing times and needs. This flexibility helps the nation to address the new challenges and adapt to the social and economic changes. Of course, these are the basic salient features. And what are the challenges that the Constitution is being faced in the present times? The Indian Constitution, while it is robust and comprehensive, faces several challenges in the contemporary times. Number 1, the judicial backlog and delays. Indian courts are overwhelmed with a massive backlog of cases, leading to a significant delay in delivering justice. The delays in the judicial process makes it difficult for many people, especially those from marginalized communities, to access a timely justice. Number 2, this is very important, the political interference. There are serious concerns about the independence of the judiciary being compromised due to political influence and interference. The process of appointing judges has faced criticism for the lack of transparency and allegations of favoritism in the absence of a definite, transparent appointment system of judges, particularly to the higher judiciary. Of course, the present system is working. The present system is working satisfactorily, but yet there are serious concerns in the people about this political influence, as we have seen in the recent judgment, which were weighed with the opinions of the government in power. So, number 3, another challenge, implementation of fundamental rights. Despite constitutional guarantees, there are frequent reports of violations of fundamental rights, including freedom of speech, right to privacy, right to dissent, and protection against the discrimination. The mechanisms to enforce these rights are often inadequate, leading to lapses in protection and justice. Number 4, the federalism and state-central relations. The balance of power between the central and state government is often a point of contention, leading to conflicts and disputes. The allocation of financial resources between the center and the states remains a contentious issue, impacting the autonomy and development of the state. Number 5, social inequality and discrimination. Despite constitutional provisions against the caste-based discrimination, the caste system continues to be a significant social challenge to our society, and it is even growing as well. Women and other marginalized genders still face the considerable inequality and discrimination in various aspects of life. Then, number 6, the secularism and communalism. Here is another major area of challenge to the Constitution. The principle of secularism is being challenged by rising communal divisions, tensions, and increasing incident of religious tolerance and open defiance of the constitutional provisions by certain communal hegemonic majoritarian forces in the recent times. Political parties are exploiting the religious sentiments for electoral gains, promoting communal forces with official patronage by abusing power given by the Constitution and undermining the statutory institutions like higher judiciary, Election Commission of India, and investigating agencies, undermining the secular fabric of the Constitution. Number 7, the amendments and interpretation. While the Constitution allows for amendments, the frequent changes sometimes undermines its stability and original spirit. Different interpretations of constitutional provisions by the judiciary can lead to ambiguity and inconsistency in their application. Number 8, economic inequality. Economic disparities remain a significant challenge to the Constitution, with poverty and unemployment rising day by day. Rising day by day. But in this regard, we have to unequal access to the resources such as education, healthcare, and employment opportunities exacerbates the economic inequality. Number 9, the environmental protection. Balancing economic development with environmental protection is a major challenge. As constitutional provisions for environmental safeguards are sometimes overlooked. Addressing the impacts of climate changes while ensuring the sustainable development poses a significant challenge. In the final analysis, what we have to see is, in the final analysis, the it can be said that it is the people of India who are ultimate sovereigns and custodians of the Constitution of India. While celebrating the Constitution Day, we must also review how the Constitution is being implemented, the fundamental rights and liberties, equality and fraternity principles are being protected by the Constitution, to whom the power and responsibility of implementing the Constitution is given under the Constitution. It is for the people to evaluate whether the central or state governments or other statutory institutions created under the Constitution are really celebrating the Indian Constitution Day in its true spirit by scrupulously following the cardinal principles of the Indian Constitution, confining to their powers and roles assigned by the Constitution, or whether they are paying only a lip praise and respect to the Constitution while undermining its value and importance and acting against the basic structural objectives and framework of the Constitution. The people of India must watch the functioning of the institutions like Parliament, executive, political, and administration apparatus, judiciary, whether they are acting contrary to the basic structure of the Constitution and its objectives by implementing its own hidden agenda of subverting the Constitution to enforce their own ideology and aim of establishing the very dangerous trend, the majoritarian hegemonic rule, slowly diluting and distorting the Constitution while pretending obedience to the Constitution. The recent happenings in the last 10 years, if we carefully observe and study the functioning of the present regime and its political, its ideological and administrative moves, invariably we find that the Constitution of India is being sidelined indirectly to pursue their own agenda of converting the country into majoritarian hegemonic ruling system by distorting and diluting all the institutions and ultimately destroying the democratic, socialist, secular fabric of the nation, undermining the basic structure of the Constitution and the fundamental rights and liberties guaranteed by the Constitution of India to its people. To cite examples, the recent enactment of drastic amendments to the Citizenship Amendment Act, NRC, and also FCRA, amendments to FCRA, EAPA, PMLA Acts, enactment of anti-conversion laws, amending Constitution to give reservations to EWs, which is not anywhere mentioned in the Constitution, and excluding SC, ST and BCs from such EWS reservations based on economic criteria, which is not contemplated under the Constitution of India, misusing the office of the governors, central agencies like NIA, ED, CBI against the dissenters, civic society and political opponents are the grim reminders and the pointers of distortion and dilution of the Constitution and the danger faced by the Constitution. While they publicly owe the allegiance to the Constitution, they implement this slowly and steadily. Because of this slow and sustained distortion, without any open defiance of the Constitution, the state is slowly drifting into the mode of Manusmriti, diluting, the distorting and basic structure of the Constitution of India. Thus, they redefined their strategy using political power got from the Constitution of India and started employing the legal language to enforce their agenda in various forms without publicly discarding the Constitution of India. That is the greatest danger that the Constitution of India is being faced in the present times. It is regrettable that the Indian elite, liberal and democratic, progressive and secular forces and activists, including political parties who are committed to the Constitution of India, are not able to gauge and comprehend the danger lying ahead with the present trend of distortion of the Constitution, with overconfidence in the inherent strength of the Indian Constitution, and they are yet to realize the political impact and the effectiveness of Hindutva, communal, majoritarian nationalism advanced by the present political power system. And this lethargy on their part is increasingly becoming counterproductive. That is why Baba Saheb Ambedkar said, the Constitution of India is strong enough to hold the country together, both in peace and war times. And if things goes wrong, it is not that we had a bad constitution, but we will have to say that man is alive. if hereafter things go wrong, we will have nobody to blame except ourselves, that is the people of India. The people of India, because we elect such people which tries to distort the constitution of India and make this country again an autocratic state. So it is we, the people of India, who are having final say in all the matters. Having enacted and presented the Constitution of India to ourselves, are responsible to see its proper enforcement and implementation by defeating the evil designs of majoritarian, authoritarian, autocratic, divisive, and communal tendencies being advanced by the powers that be under the guise of political power they got under the same constitution, and protected from such tendencies and forces. Celebration of Constitution Day should not be a formal occasion or a ritual celebration, but it should be a solemn occasion for every citizen of this great country to commit ourselves and pledge and rededicate ourselves to the foundational principles, that is the basic structure of the Constitution as enshrined in the preamble, which cannot be diluted or distorted by the power establishment, and protect the Constitution by ever vigilance to realize the objective of unity in diversity with liberty, equality, and fraternity. Then only the celebration of Constitutional Day will have some impact and significance, and also it will, and that enables her to protect the Constitution. So spread this message to everybody, and let us take pledge to protect the Constitution on while celebrating the Indian Constitution Day on 26th 11 2024. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat.